You're in the rant wormhole where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get a rant by being one of those people. This one, I fucking clicked off the page. I clicked off the page where the names are. So just give me 1 second. Thomas Woolman wants me to rant about XXXTentacion. So my first exposure to X was like, I want to say late 2016 or early 2017, when Look at Me was getting its like resurgence. It was blowing up really big and becoming a meme, and his mugshot was all over the place. And like, I think that was the first I had really seen these like, maybe he started the craze, but like the idea of these rappers who just were like getting into all kinds of trouble and having like all this story about them, you know, like guys just like appearing on the scene from the depths of the internet and immediately being like all over the news for, you know, being troublemakers. Like, I've never really followed any guys who are like that, but you know, like I saw X come out and I was following a lot of like, you know, hip hop journalism and stuff at the time, so I was like, all right, you know, the chorus of the song is hilarious. The I took a white bitch to Starbucks, that little bitch got her throat fucked. An iconic lyric that is going to go down in hip-hop history now, because of X, like the legacy he's sort of left in getting shot, unfortunately. So, like, you know, when I first heard Look at Me, I thought it was dog shit, and I hated his fucking voice, because he sounds like a child. Like, I just think that, I always thought that he just didn't sound, like, hard enough over the beat. You know, that, like, you know, because I'm used to going over, like, blown out fucking loud beats like that. I think I was kind of jealous, even, that I didn't get to use that beat for myself and, like, you know, scream over it and stuff. But, like, in retrospect, I think it's just a solid song. Like, I listen to it now and I'm fine with it. I don't know if that's just because I've heard it enough times. But, you know, I kept returning to it because it is fun to listen to. And so early into me Snapchatting with May, when I first was talking to her, she had taken, like, a Snapchat of some, like, she was at some, like, elementary school art showing of some kind, and some kid had, like, drawn XXXTentacion in chalk and, like, had a picture of him, like, as like the picture that was like on the, you know, like the mugshot picture, and she had taken a you know, a Snapchat of it, and I thought it was really hilarious that she also knew who he was, and I was like, oh cool, she knows something about hip hop, you know. So like, I think I possibly also like had underestimated just how big of a deal he was becoming, like, because I just think of it as a meme, you know. I just see like this guy as like, you know, people making fun of him on 4chan and places like that. Like, I don't actually know the people who are sincerely listening to his music or, you know, propping him up as like a legitimate figure. And then once he started putting out albums, like, the dude dropped a ton of material in a short span of time. And, like, you know, there's tons of other stuff coming out now posthumously, you know, which is maybe not too surprising because with internet rappers, there tends to be a rabbit hole. You know, like, once they finally make it big, there tends to be a bunch of shit people didn't know about that they did before. There tends to be, you know, like, collaborations they had in the works and stuff. So, like, you know, it seemed like all of a sudden he was, like, an artist that people were, like, looking at as, you know, like, sincerely, is he going to put out good albums? And I never really gave much time to his shit because, again, I couldn't stand his voice. I didn't like his, like, you know, whiny lyrics. Like, his lyrics are like, you know, like trying to be woke, but you're too young to be woke. You just don't know enough of what's going on to really talk about social issues or, like, you know, present your own emotions in a lot of depth. But, like, you know, I could relate to the aesthetic of his stuff, like the whole scrawled out lyrics on paper, like angrily written, you know. I did a lot of that back in high school, though not quite as aggressively as his handwriting. But, like, it was just like, you know, now that he's being celebrated as an artist, that, like, a lot of people are, like, sincerely big fans, it's, like, evident. It's not hard to imagine why. It's, like, I don't think I would necessarily say he was like an amazing artist or anything, but I do think that he had like a very unique sound and tone, and that he really was like creating emo rap as the next major trend. Like, you know, now we've got like other dudes who sound kind of like him. It's funny too because he was doing like he first became known for doing like really heavy shit, but like the stuff that he did that, you know, made him coast and become like really famous was like sad boy emo shit, you know. And I think that he probably, you know, reached more people that way than he had by just being another SoundCloud rapper, you know, over like hard distorted beats. Like, it's kind of like I think it's easier to be intense and extreme and to just like go jump on the hardest sounding shit in the world than it is to captivate people when you have to lead more of the production, when it has to be your voice that is creating the excitement more so than the instrumental. And you know, I could see why people would resonate with his vocal style, which, like, again, I find it obnoxious, but I also thought that emo was mega obnoxious back in the day. But like those songs have all wormed their way into my subconsciousness and like affected me myself, and you know, eventually I got to like a lot of bands that kind of had that kind of sound, and it made it easier to go back and listen to that stuff in the long run. So like, you know, I might hear XXXTentacion and think it sucks, and then like a year later, after I've been worn down by Juice World and like, you know, other shit, then it's like I go back to X and I'm like, okay, you know, now that I've heard a ton of shit that sounds like this, I appreciate what made this one unique from the other stuff that sounds like that, or, you know, why this one created that trend. So, you know, basically what I'm saying is that I think that X was a pretty interesting artist, that he had gone in a lot of different directions in a short amount of time, that he would go from like insane blown out shit to emo shit to Skins, which I listened to the other day, which is his first like posthumous album, and it's mega interesting. It's only like 10 songs, most of them are unfinished, but like they're all in totally different sonic styles. Some are more like rock songs, some are more, you know, hip hop, some are more fun, some are more laid back and chill, and like there's songs where this dude was rapping over like just piano ballads, you know, like he definitely was not just like a one note, one trick pony kind of artist. And like in terms of his personal life, like I would say that it's, you know, like he did some fucked up things, and like, you know, I'm not like, I don't really care about like offering forgiveness to a musician or whatever. Like, I'm not a judge of their character, I just judge their music. You know, like, I don't have enough context into what happens with anybody for me to really pass judgment on other people, personally. Like, you know, I might feel a certain way about whatever I've heard, but, like, I'm not going to assume that you know, that I have any ability to pass judgment on a person without knowing, like, a significant amount of the story of what's gone on with them, you know? So, like, in terms of his personal life, I don't, you know, it's whatever, but, like, it's really unfortunate that it became such public, you know, like, such a huge disaster for him in the public, that he would become that hot, that he would get so, you know, so much attention so fast in such a negative way that he inevitably gets shot, you know? And, like, the culture that created that possibility is really sad, and the way that people handled his death online was really sad. I made a song about it called Y'all Killing Him, or You Killing Him. No, Who Killing Him. That's what the song's called. Who Killing Him off Fuck Off mixtape is about XXXTentacion and his murder. So check that out. And there you go. That's my fucking rant.